I think, we can never put the onus on the target of this behavior to speak up. Now, in an ideal world, they would feel comfortable to speak up. And a lot of companies are investing money and time and expertise in flexible reporting channels, so anonymous reporting, app-based reporting platforms. There's a number of technological solutions. Some law firms that I worked with, they'd realized that people just weren't comfortable going to HR. And so they'd try to, some firms had split off part of HR that was independent and just dealt with complaints. Others had sort of empowered people at different levels of the organization as sort of informal people that you could report to who would then run it up the line. If you feel comfortable going to someone in your organization and talking about this, I think that's important. And a lot of people who did our survey, which was anonymous, said that it was the first time they'd told anyone about what they'd experienced, and that it had been helpful for them to have that channel. And so, I think, there's a lot of evidence that speaking up can be empowering, but people don't speak up. And we have a lot of evidence on the barriers to speaking up and often the backlash that people face when they speak up. So I think, and maybe this is your next question, but, as importantly, if not more importantly, is obviously prevention, but if we're just focusing on when incidents occur, it's bystanders speaking up. So, I think one of the most powerful things all of us can do to achieve change is call things out when we see it. And, this is a societal problem. And the corollary of that is this is really hard to address. And I think there's often we search for easy answers and there are not easy answers. We need to pull on 100 different levers within our team, within our organization, within our profession, within our country, our societal context, all of which will go some small way to achieving change. So to give an example, alcohol is often associated with incidents of sexual harassment. So some law firms have grappled with, how do you restrict alcohol? Some firms have, stopped providing alcohol entirely. There's other issues there about mental health and well-being and overuse of alcohol in the legal profession as well. But, to focus on sexual harassment, we can get rid of the booze. That's not a silver bullet. The harassment will happen elsewhere. That doesn't mean that taking steps to ensure responsible consumption of alcohol is not useful and worthwhile. It is, but we can't think that once we've ticked that box, we've fixed the problem. We've got to tick 100 boxes and then live that every day to achieve change. And, that's hard. Change is not easy. Change is not inevitable, but it is possible. And I think, to me, the inspiring and uplifting part of this journey has been speaking to thousands of people around the world who are committed to achieving change. I saw the most fantastic initiatives at all levels of the profession, from law school, to senior judges, all of whom are committed to ensuring that our workplaces are safe and supportive and inclusive for everyone. That's a challenging task and it'll take a lot of work, but we can achieve it if we try hard enough. So I guess the message is we have to try. There was, sometimes you saw denial, and I would go into a law firm and they'd see the data, and I could almost see the thought process in their head of, the law firm across the road must be really bad because we don't have any of this here. And obviously, data doesn't lie. However, mostly at senior leadership level, really good buy-in. One person that we worked closely with, the global senior partner of one of the biggest law firms in the world, I saw him present to his staff alongside me on a number of occasions, and he would sometimes say, he's managed 200 people in his career, and he'd be an idiot to think that the statistics didn't apply to him in some way. Now, obviously, again, no one likes to think that they're a bully, but the numbers just don't lie. And so I guess, that's the first step. The next step is, how do you implement that change across the entirety of your, in this case, very large organization? And I think it's one thing for senior leaders to get on board, but they're not the ones operating, they're not the ones managing on a day-to-day basis, because often they're so removed, they're operating at such a high level. So the next step, I think, in operationalizing this change is is the sort of the line managers. So in law, that's often the senior associates and the junior partners. It's those people that need to be taking these messages on board and responding to them.